Respiration. Cell respiration and the next topic, photosynthesis, are actually a separate chapter in some books because this entails the energy transfer in cells. So in this area, since energy transfer in cells are actually divided according to SO students and HO students, this area wherein the cell respiration is categorized under chemistry of life, it only needs an introductory explanation of what the whole process is. It doesn't really, SL students doesn't really need the exact detailed processes compared to what HO students need. Okay, so here, of course, okay, so in cell respiration, of course, we have to include the definition. So cell respiration, this is the controlled release of energy, okay, by living cells using organic molecules such as glucose, using or producing the energy molecule called ATP. Okay, so since it is a controlled release of energy, cells can continuously produce energy in this sense. So right after writing down the definition, then we can also include the types. So under types, we have the aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Okay, so the most common questions that that students can encounter in exams is that the comparison between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So they can be compared according to different description. So first, it is helpful to write down the chemical reactions first. That in aerobic respiration, it uses glucose. Students need to write down the chemical reaction for this. The chemical equation. Sorry. Producing, so glucose added with oxygen produces 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 6 molecules of water, and 36 molecules of ATP. Okay. In the case of HO students, we can further dissect where we are able to acquire the 36 to 38 molecules of ATP. But in the case of SL students, we can just say that along the processes of aerobic respiration, this type of respiration produces more energy and is more efficient in producing energy. In the case of anaerobic respiration, there are two things that can happen. It can happen to yeast cells or to muscle cells. In the case of muscle cells, it also uses glucose. Of course, anaerobic respiration occurs in the absence of oxygen. So this time, of course, there's no oxygen there, but it produces lactic acid. Lactic acid and 2 molecules of ATP. Okay, so this is occurring in muscle cells. Okay, if it's going to be occurring in yeast cells, the product is different. Okay, this time the products are alcohol, carbon dioxide, this is 2 molecules of carbon dioxide, and 2 ATPs. Okay, so we can point out that in anaerobic respiration occurring in yeast cells, okay, is the number of ATP molecules in both muscle cells and yeast cells are the same, because the anaerobic respiration that is occurring in both cells are the same. They both undergo glycolysis only. That's why their product of ATP molecules is the same. Okay, not unlike in aerobic respiration, it undergoes several more processes, like three more processes apart from glycolysis. That's why it is able to produce more ATP. So therefore, we can point out that aerobic respiration is way more efficient in producing energy molecules compared to anaerobic respiration. Okay? Because of the amount of the ATP molecules that they have produced. Okay? So, next area that is going to be discussed in cell respiration, okay, is the process. Okay, so this time, since this is under chemistry of life, the process has to be simplified. So we don't need to elaborate on the Krebs cycle and the Krebs cycle, the link reaction, and the electron transport chain that are needed to be discussed later on in chapter 7. So this one, it has to be simplified. Okay, so we can just discuss under the process the location where it occurs. Okay, so the aerobic respiration can occur in the cytoplasm. Okay, aerobic and anaerobic respiration can occur in the cytoplasm. And furthermore, aerobic respiration continues in the mitochondrion. Okay, so of course, we have already discussed their products. Okay, the difference in the products that is being produced in aerobic and anaerobic respiration, and the number of ATP produced in each type. Okay, so it is also important to know the structure of mitochondria. Since mitochondria is an organelle where cell respiration is occurring, then maybe like a simplified knowing or learning the mitochondrial structure will be helpful as well. So lastly, okay, the things that is needed to be learned by both SL and HL students is the process of oxidation and reaction. So the good news about learning the oxidation and reduction here is that it's different from the oxidation and reduction in chemistry. Because in chemistry, they need to know what the reducing agents are or the oxidizing agents are. But here, they don't need to learn that. They just need to memorize this acronym. So oil rig. Oil rig refers to oxidation is losing electrons. Reduction is gaining electrons. Meaning, oxidation, whenever oxidation is occurring, it gives off electrons from the hydrogen. Whereas for reduction, it's when it gains the electrons from the hydrogen. So that will be all for cell respiration. The next topic that is going to be discussed under chemistry of life is about photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is included in the chapter energy transfer in cells and is also present in the later chapters in chapter 8. Okay, so what are the things that are needed to be discussed in photosynthesis? First, we have to define what the process is. So, definition, this is the process being undergone by plants where they're able to convert light energy being acquired from the sunlight, from the sun, and convert them into chemical energy, which is in the form of glucose. Okay, so it is more helpful to define what the process is if we include the chemical reaction. So the chemical equation. The chemical equation for this is actually complementary to what is present in cell respiration. So this time we use carbon dioxide and water as raw materials. Okay. Whenever there are whenever the light energy is going to be absorbed by the pigment chlorophyll, it is able to convert them into glucose, okay, glucose and 6 molecules of oxygen. Okay, so it's basically the opposite of the equation is basically the opposite of cellular respiration. Okay, so apart from that, okay, we have to include the location of where the photosynthesis is occurring. So when you say location, we have to include the structure of the chloroplast. The structure of the chloroplast molecule. So just like in mitochondrion, it is also double membrane, and there are structures such as the thylakoid membranes where light-dependent reaction is occurring, and we also have the stroma where light-independent reaction is occurring. So next one, we need to discuss about light energy. Okay, and light energy, of course, it is available in different wavelengths or in different spectrums. But in the light energy that is being provided by the sun, only specific colors such as red and blue that is going to be efficiently used because they provide more energy. Okay. So we can include the processes now. So we have the light-dependent reaction occurring in the thylakoid membrane. Okay, so under light-dependent reaction, we have the process of photolysis, wherein water molecules are going to be split to release the electrons. The next process that is occurring in light-dependent reaction is ATP molecule formation to provide energy for the next process. Okay, so the next one, we have the light-independent reaction. In the light-independent reaction, this doesn't require light, but it needs molecules that has been produced in light-dependent reaction for this to occur. Okay, so next one, okay, next that are going to be discussed are the factors affecting photosynthesis. So the rate of photosynthesis is being affected by several factors, such as temperature. Okay, just like in enzymes, as the temperature increases, the rate of photosynthesis is increasing as well. But as the temperature further increases, it can denature the enzymes that are involved in the process of photosynthesis, therefore decreasing the rate. Okay, so we have carbon dioxide concentration. Of course, this is very self-explanatory because whenever there's no carbon dioxide, then therefore the rate of photosynthesis is not going to be increasing. So lastly, and very important, we have light intensity. Without light, photosynthesis cannot occur. So we can actually prove this, or students can actually prove this in their lab experiments, wherein they can show like plants can photosynthesize, can produce more oxygen if they are placed directly under light, and they can produce more organic molecules or more glucose in that sense whenever they are exposed under more light.